Hello, I'm Lavrel. I'm a youth ambassador for Attentive Social Enterprise, and I'm here today with Shanoa and Mia, two other youth ambassadors. And today we're going to be learning chess with our coach and chess master Montell. He is going to be showing us some opening checkmates. So over to Montell.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Excellent.
Yeah, good.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's look at some openings and let's do a king's pawn opening. So you will be playing whites, okay? And I'm going to just do the first few moves for you. Okay. Normally, there are golden rules, and then we started off in a previous video with some golden principles. One of the principles was develop your pieces and don't bring out your queen too early, okay? There are exceptions to every rule. An exception to this rule could be you know your opponent. You know what they're going to do and you know their game. Sometimes you'll play people and you'll watch their game, okay? And they play the same opening every time. Let's assume that your opponent will be playing what's called the Queen's Indian defense. The King's Indian defense is when you move this pawn out and put that bishop in there, and then you castle on that side. The Queen is when you move that one, and you do this over here. Okay. So your opponent is going to do a Queen's Indian defense. Okay. You're going to do what's called a fried liver attack. Okay. Now, the fried liver attack is when you get your bishop here, and you usually have your knight, you move your knight to here, then to here, and you attack this square here, pinning and forking the queen and the rook. So you can take one of them, like what we did in one of our previous games. Okay, but when you do it from your opening move, it's called a fried liver attack because you use your knight. But in this particular occasion, you watched your opponent and you've learned that your opponent doesn't move these very regularly. Okay, so you've moved your bishop out and you know that their next move is going to be pawn here. So on this occasion, you've decided to move your queen to here. So that pawn comes to here. So I'm going to put your queen to here. Now, because they're going to be doing the Queen's Indian defense, okay, Mia, what do you think your opponent might do in this situation? What are the threats that you pose and what might your opponent do?
Well, if the next thing that they're going to do is if they're doing the Queen's Indian defence, then obviously they're going to bring the bishop out into that gap on b7, aren't they?
Yeah.
I suppose that poses a threat because it's on the diagonal to our queen. There's a pawn in the way, but it's on the diagonal of the queen. I'm not really sure what else I can pick up from it. I'm not sure.
Okay, Laurel. Now it's Black's move. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think Black's going to do, and then what would you do?
I think the black would move the horse or the knight instead, in front of in f6, because then
so
it's blocking that pawn. Because you said before that pawn was very
yeah. So they might move the knight to here to defend it, or where else can they put that knight to defend it?
You can put e7, can't they?
But e7 wouldn't defend that square.
Would defend it, but that's just.
You want to try it there?
No, because it's not going to defend it, is it? But
No.
I was just.
In h6, it would defend.
Okay, so if your opponent moved the knight there, why would your opponent want to do that? Do you know it? Would your opponent want to move there? Not really.
Not really, no.
Anything, is it?
No, it's just
Your opponent would either want to move 1, 2, or bring out a bishop. Or if they're going to be doing the Queen's Indian defense, they're going to go here, aren't they? Let's assume your opponent chose to go here. Because you play them all the time. And they always do this. they move out the king's pawn twice, and then they do queen's Indian defense. What's your next move, Mia?
Do we kind of want to stop them from doing that? Like, stop them from doing that defense in some way? Just a question. Like, is that something that we're trying to delay?
Ask one of your fellow youth ambassadors. Shinoa, is your move? You got a question asked by your colleague. How would you answer that?
So what was the question? Are we trying to stop them from moving the bishop there?
Yeah, like, because obviously the next thing that they're going to do is to move out the knight so that they can castle. If we're talking that defense technique, which we are.
Yeah.
Stop that from happening. Are we on A6 or C6 or like just wherever they're going to go, like stop them from coming out to castle, or are we not? I don't know.
No, I'm not going to be in much help here.
Laura, what do you think?
I think I've spotted something, and because we are doing early checkmate,
Yeah.
and I think you could get into an early checkmate right here.
How?
By either moving the bishop or the queen to that weak spot. Was it F7?
Which one would you move?
Either or. You can move the bishop.
Oh, hang on. If we move the queen forward and just take that pawn, then the only way that we could, get taken is if the king decided to take us, which would then bring him out.
And that's defended by the bishop.
Yeah, that's true.
Both the queen and the bishop are defending that square. So if one of them goes to that square, then it'll be checkmate.
I know, I meant like straight forward, but then the bishop is defending it.
Mia, do you understand what your colleagues are telling you there?
Sorry?
Do you understand what your colleagues are telling you?
Not that well, no.
Okay, so basically what they're saying is what's been spotted by Laurel is actually you're trying to win the game early. You're trying to get early checkmate. You know what your opponent is going to do because they're going to be doing a queen's Indian defense. How can you get them in checkmate? You can get them in checkmate by attacking the king. Laurel has said, actually, both of these two squares are attacking that pawn, aren't they? If it's your move, if you were to take with the bishop, the king would have to move. It can't take you, could it? You'd have to move out.
Oh.
But if you took it with your queen, what would happen?
Well, I mean, because the queen can move in any direction, can't it? So if the king was, if we were to use the queen, then the king would have to move down, but then the queen can go to the side anyway.
Yeah.
So it could get it anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the king can't move down, can it?
No, because it will still get taken. So it will still.
So what would happen then if your queen were to go here?
Would that be a check? Me?
Yeah. Do you want to try it?
Yeah, that'd be a very quick game as well, to start with.
Checkmate, you won.
Hey.
Well spotted, Laurel.
Thank you.
Well spotted. Can you understand how that happened?
Yeah.
Explain to me why you got checkmate so quickly to your opponents.
Obviously, considering like you were saying, like in this sort of situation, hypothetically, we're playing against someone predictable. We know what they're going to do. Like it just because they brought that one out, they let themselves in for that to happen.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Because we went. Because like you said, there's the rule of like don't bring your queen up too early, but there can be like an exception.
Yeah.
Like if we didn't make that exception, it could have gone on for a lot longer.
Absolutely right. Did that make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would break that exception because you know your opponent. And that's how I used to, I think I mentioned to you when I started off playing, and I used to play, if I played locally, it was always like ordinary people, quite easy to beat. I occasionally found. But when I went wide to the field and I played with really strong players, okay, I didn't understand the games to begin with. But then I learned the game, and then they became predictable. I knew what they're going to do. And like, for example, I'm going to show you another one whereby a lot of people used to play, and I couldn't understand what I did with this particular opening is lots of grandmasters used to play this. There's a guy called Bobby Fischer. He used to dominate in the 1990s, a world famous, best in the world. Always had this opening. Nobody could beat him. But I studied the game and I found an easy way to beat him. I think it was showing Genoa in the previous opening. Okay. Now let me show you that opening. And this is a gambit, King's Gambit. Okay. White moves here, black moves there. Okay. Now white moves King's Gambit, gives away a free pawn. Okay. What would you do, Mia, if they offered you 3 pawns?
I mean, you'd want to take it, wouldn't you? Like, they're obviously throw you in for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So
that you'd want to just take it.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. It's there for a reason. 3 pawns, okay? So black took it. The white took out a knight to here. Now, what people used to say is black used to try to defend this either with a pawn going forward or bring up bishop, etc. And then white used to always capture them. But I discovered the way to break this king's pawn gambit is to put your bishop here. Because what happens is you can't bring up your queen to here because you get taken by that. Okay? So what white can do is dominate these central squares. Remember, it's quite often a fight for the center, isn't it? Over here. Okay. So white often either moved here or they moved the pawn up. Okay. Let's assume in this occasion they moved the pawn up. So the exception to the rule, Laurel, you got your thing on mute? The exception to the rule is normally you'll fight for the center squares, wouldn't you? But for this particular gambit, I put my bishop here. Okay. Then they put out the knight to here to defend that pawn, and they're going to bring out that pawn, and they think they've conquered the center of the squares, and they're going to take this pawn in a minute. Okay. What I then did, which I went here and called check. What would you do next if you were that? If you were black and white? Do you know it all around? Would you take it with the knight, or would you block it with the pawn, or would you move the king?
First thing I thought was to take it with the knight, but then I think there's going to be something sneaky going on with that.
Yeah, that was my first instinct, is to take with the knight, but obviously that's a gambit as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I suppose you'd block it with a pawn.
Okay, so you block it with a pawn, and then that pawn take. Now what you do? Do you take it with your pawn, or do you just leave it and move another piece?
I feel like you'd be tempted at the pawn, but once again, this is, you know, gambit. Maybe there's something like
you could maybe move the bishop that's C1 up to kind of make the, but then that'd be I don't know.
Bishop in F or C1. C1.
I think moving the one in C and up to, but then that's a sacrifice to make the bishop go back.
Or here. Where would you move the bishop to?
I don't know. If you was to move it, or maybe maybe F4.
Okay.
That then defends the bishop in front of it, the pawn in front of it. I don't know.
And then the pawn takes this pawn. That takes that.
Yeah.
And then you're in check.
So now that's stuck.
You're in check now. So you have to out of check, or because you can't block it. So you have to move here or here. onto the D or E square.
Can we not still take it with the knight? Just asking, not saying that we should.
Yeah,
Just
actually,
asking.
you can also take with the knight. Do you want to take it with the
Yeah.
knight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
take it with a knight.
Okay, so you take it with the knight. And then queen comes down here and takes that and calls check. And then now queen's got the bishop.
Oh no.
Right. Well.
So you can see the gambit, can't you? It didn't work, did it?
No.
Excellent.
And this gambit was done by chess masters. And
Don't
I was glad, and I found this way to beat them. This is exactly why I was playing. Now white's in trouble, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, because I'm eating all their pieces. The king's moved, so they can't castle. I'm going to be bringing up more reinforcements in a minute to attack. The guy hardly ever attacks with just one piece. Okay, so let's assume you move one forward. Okay.
Yeah.
I take the bishop to get that out the way first of all. What would you then do? Probably take the pawn. Oh no, you can't take the pawn because then my queen will take.
Yeah. And then we're in check as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Any ideas?
Really, can we? I don't know. I've got no idea.
What about bringing out the knight?
I was thinking that just now, where I move it.
Oh yeah.
C or A square.
Oh yeah. If we went up to C3, then we'd be protecting the king at least.
And then
Yeah.
this is actually quite close to what I was doing when I was playing. This was years ago at this actual game. I will show you the actual concept. So then I moved my pawn forward one. Okay. My opponent played their knight to here to attack the queen. Can I do that?
Yeah. Even though I assume your opponent lost, but
Now I'm seeing that square here. And I'm considering an attack against my queen. Do you know what I did?
what?
In this situation? I call check. Because I'm an aggressive player. I don't care about what you're going to do, I just attack you.
Yeah.
I think I got. And then they moved.
They can't move there, can they? With the queen.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So they can't, right? So they moved down. Right? I can't. Then the queen take that and call check. Then you have to move here, or you can move there. Which one do you want to move to, the D or to the F?
I'd go to the D because then otherwise you're kind of you're not blocking anything, are you? I don't know.
Which one do you want? What do you reckon?
What do you
Now,
guys
bear in mind, when you move out a check, your opponent can either take your knight or take your queen. But you have to move out a check anyway, don't you?
Yeah. Or would it be an option to move our bishop forwards as well?
Yeah, you can move your bishop forward. Do you want to do that? Move your bishop to block it.
And then it's blocking, but then
Then
when
with
we take that, and then it's checkmate.
Sorry?
If you move the bishop, actually
the queen
no.
could come down and get the
Rook
rook and
and
then
call check.
yeah.
But then you can move out the way.
I think this is just going to be like a big spiral to an inevitable.
Yeah, this is going to be you chasing us around the board for a few minutes and then calling
until the inevitable
anyway.
happens. Yeah, it's just which way do we want to go at this point?
I remember that, like, in this particular game, right, the opening is a very well-known King's opening gambit, okay, that lots of top players used to play, and they beat a lot of people by doing that opening. But it was because I went at one move that put white in a lot of trouble, and that one move was when I was able to put the bishop to that square.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're absolutely right. What happens basically in this game, right, is lots of different ways to attack. Either take the queen and you take me because you're going to take back once they take you there. And then I take that piece, okay? And then you can't obviously attack over here. And then it's just about a matter of time. You'll easily win it from that position, wouldn't you, if you are black? Because they've only got the places left, have they? King can't move. They've got no queen left. And then they got no defense left. There's hardly any pawns left. No defense over here. They can't castle. They're just waiting upon the opponent to trap them in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one opening. Let me show you another opening. Okay. With this opening, okay, I think I may have showed you before. So this one is the King's Indian defense. Do you know about the King's Indian defense?
I've heard of it. I've heard you talk about it. I can't remember which opening.
Sorry?
The King's Indian defense is what you do is the idea is you're going to be moving your pawns and then putting that in here and put your knight here and then castling over here. So you've got a triangle here, knight in front, and you've castled. That's called the King's Indian defense. The Queen's Indian defense is when you do it on the opposite side. Okay. You put that there. Bishop, knight, get queen out the way, and then you castle, you move 2, and you do it on that side. And quite often, I often play King's or Queen's Indian defense. Very, very powerful defending move. But what I also do is I always get into this position. Why would I want to do that?
They kind of don't know which side you're gonna
Exactly.
castle
Then
on.
they don't know if I'm going to castle to the left or the right. But what I often, sometimes it depends upon my opponent, how good I think they are, or who they are. I sometimes fight for the middle squares. And if I'm fighting for the middle squares, then I don't mind losing these 2 pawns, okay? Either by exchanging them off or by just getting them taken or something. So then it gives me a clear way here. If I think they're going to defend on this side, let's assume they've moved these pieces out and then castled over here. What I then want is I want to castle on that side. And do you know the pawns here? I want you to have them. Yeah, go and take that pawn. Ah, free pawn, I'm going to have that pawn. And then I'll say, yeah, it's another free pawn, and can't have it. I won't get that defended. I'll move this out of the way so that you'll eat it. Oh, great, a free pawn. Why do I want to give away free pawns over here?
Because it gets them like closer to all of like your sort of attacking pieces at the bottom, so you can actually end up taking pairs that have more.
How would you say it? What would you say? You've heard what Mia said. Why do I want them to take the pawns from over here if I know that the castle over there?
Would you say me?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, so they're bringing their pieces further out, and then you can attack
Well,
more
sort
on that
of.
side.
The reason why is the most powerful piece on the board. You've got major and minor pieces. Your minor pieces are your bishop and your knight, and you do them early. Your major pieces is your queen and your rook. And they're most powerful when they're going straight, aren't they? When they go straight, you don't want your pawn going away, do you? Because it can go straight up towards the king here. For example, you see how we are here. If my queen is here, this pawn can't take me. Why can't it take me?
Then that's opening up for the rook at
Yes,
d1.
because you can't move into check. And if it took me, that diagonal line here is in check, so they're not allowed to. So I would move my queen to here. How can they defend against that? Shinoa, if you were black and your opponent went here, what would you do?
I have no idea. You'd try to use one of your other pieces to block it, wouldn't you? Try and, I know, you could bring out your queen. You could bring out.
You bring out your queen to here.
Yeah, you could bring out the queen.
Yeah,
you'd be. Yeah. That's
They'll
true.
get taken by the queen there.
Yeah. I don't know what you'd do. Just wait to die.
Mia, any idea?
I'm quite happy with waiting to die because I have no idea what else to do at this point.
Okay. The defense in that situation is to move your pawn forward one. Here.
Oh, okay.
And then, obviously, the queen can't come in here because the king will take it.
Mm.
Now, if the knight was here, what would you do? Would you take the pawn with the knight or not?
I think so, but you've got something sneaky up your sleeve. If there's anyone else, then yeah, just go ahead and take the pawn.
I think, but then that's blocking the rook as well. Your knight would be blocking the rook, and the knight couldn't get to the king.
So you would take the knight? Shinoa would, or yes or no?
I don't know, but I'll go with it.
Laurel said yes. Shinoa?
Yeah, we'll go for it. We'll see what happens.
Or would you move your bishop here?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I think bishop.
What do you think?
And then
Mia? Bishop or knight?
Uh,
Bishop, knight takes or bishop to here?
let me think. If the knight, then I think you've got to do something to us. Like,
So I couldn't hear that because you broke up. Could you repeat that?
I think maybe the bishop. Then I think maybe the bishop.
Yeah?
I might be complete, but
Shall we go with the bishop?
Yeah, we'll go with the bishop. See.
The bishop was the best move. You were right, Mia.
thank you.
Because if you go with a knight, the pawn will take.
Mm.
But if you go with a bishop, the pawn can't take, can it? Because you've been checked. But now you can take that. You're going to take that pawn next, right?
they can't take that as well.
So if you take that pawn, okay, then what you've got is your bishop can then take it.
Mm.
Mm.
So let's assume that took it. And then your knight took it. What happened? What would you do in that situation if you're black? Would you take the knight or not?
No.
You wouldn't want to take the knight because the only thing that you could really. Oh, I don't know.
Mia? What would you do in that situation if you're black?
If the black pawn was to take the knight, then wouldn't the queen just take the black pawn?
Yeah. Exactly. And then if you checkmate next move.
Mm. Wait, checkmate for who?
White will checkmate you next move if you take the knight.
That then. Oh, I don't know then. I don't really know what another alternative would be.
You can think about moving out the rook.
Yeah.
Where would you move the rook to?
The rook can only move like horizontally and vertically, can't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
If we move it forward one, then that would be one extra thing to defend the spot in front of the queen.
So that's
The
not a
king,
bad move.
Yeah.
That's the best option. Because then when the knight moves, you can move that there to block it, but then the queen will still take it. So ultimately, you'll lose the game, right? But it's just when you lose.
Seems to be an ongoing theme.
Yeah, so because ultimately you can count how many moves it's going to be, because what they've done, and this is just to highlight, the reason for black losing is because white sacrificed the pawns in front.
Yeah.
And then the rook had a clear way towards the king, and there's nothing else that you can try to find to put in front to defend the king. Okay, because then it's very easy to attack an open king, isn't it? Because what would happen? You put the rook there, okay? So white then goes here and calls check. Now you have to go here in the corner, okay? And then white can either, oh, actually, don't go here first. I go here first. And then take that, and then it can be checkmate soon. So you probably have to move that, because otherwise it'll get taken. Maybe move it to there, attacking the queen. That moves to here, attacking that. That moves to here. Okay. And move here. So what you've got is that can't move there because you're the knight. Okay. That has to stay there because of that will take that. You're going to lose the knight in a minute, because if you take that and that takes that, then that loses that. Okay. And then you've still got a knight and a queen attacking the king. And you've hardly got anything that can defend it with. Did that make sense? And then you got another rook that is going to come along here. Okay. So the opening I wanted to show you there was about the importance of clearing your pawns away once they attacked. And that was like what I did here was the queen's engine. And you got the king's engine. Okay. So we can pause that video there.